Good morning, everyone. This is Tony here, and this is a response to the recent mass shooting in Lewiston, Maine. First of all, and most importantly, I share my condolences with the families of the victims. I pray the Lord would give you strength in these tough times. Now, beyond that, what we need to look at is, first of all, whenever these incidents happen, we need to stop, gather all the facts, and process them before we start to just react emotionally, or we need to pass this law and ban this or force that. We need to understand the situation thoroughly, because when you sit back and analyze this situation with the information that we have now, you're going to actually come away understanding some disturbing truths. First of all, this man had mental health issues. He had actually been institutionalized for what appear to be schizophrenia type symptoms, which tells me that this country is in a great spiritual crisis. As this nation rejects God more and more, and we start to value the sanctity of life less and less, you're going to get people taking life in just any way they can. And before you jump to say, well, we need to ban guns, is that really going to fix anything? Think about it. If you take the gun away from the murderer's hand, he's going to pick up a knife. You take the knife away, he will pick up a stone. You take the stone away, he'll get a shiv or anything that he can get his hands on. Human beings are an incredibly capable and creative species, and we've been finding ways to unjustly end each other's lives for thousands of years. So this idea that gun legislation is going to fix it is not the answer. First of all, this leads me to my main question. And why did nobody of the victims have a gun? Or did they have their gun? I want to know. How does somebody walk into public and get away killing, over 20 people at this point, and not a single shot gets fired back? I recall it was either earlier this year or last year, there was a mass shooting in a mall, but someone with a handgun was able to intervene and stop that from taking place, was actually able to stop the suspect, stop the threat immediately. So my question is, did this man walk into an area where he knew there would be no guns? Was this a no-gun zone? I would like to know the answer to that. I have questions regarding these things. For example, mass shooters tend to choose schools to attack. Why? Because people that are like that, they take the path of least resistance. Would a murderer choose door A, where they go into a room full of people they know can counterattack them? Or would the murderer choose to go through door B, where there's a room of helpless, disarmed victims that cannot counterattack? If anything, I feel as though this incident should make people more insistent upon exercising their Second Amendment rights, not less. Because if you are out in public and some crazed lunatic like this man pulls out a rifle and starts to attack you and your family, would you rather have a gun or not have a gun to protect yourself? Would you rather have a shot at taking him out or not have a shot at taking him out? You see, we need to start thinking from the perspective of the defender, not as the victim, because a lot of times we read these horrible stories and our psyche takes over and we say, oh, let's imagine ourselves empathize with the victim. How about think of yourself as the defender? Think of yourself as the person counterattacking the person. Now, one last thing that I will point out, I feel as though we need to understand it. According to what I read, this guy was a military firearms instructor, or he was in some way affiliated with the armed services, and so he was quite proficient with his rifle. Doesn't this undermine the left-wing talking point where people will say only the police and military should have guns? Well, here's a man who in some way was affiliated with the military, and he used his gun wrongly. He used it to commit something unjust. He used it to take away innocent life. So, if you think that only the police and military should have guns, what about when they misuse them? Wouldn't you rather have a weapon to protect yourself if something like that were to happen? So I hope that this gives people food for thought, and I hope that people stop. First of all, pray. Second of all, give yourselves time to think and be rational and not come out with some reactive law of, we need to ban everything because one crazy guy did something awful to a whole lot of people. And I hope that those whole lot of people will stop and realize, hey, my defense is in my own hands. When someone's standing in front of me with a rifle trying to take my life, I don't have time to call the cops. I've got to act immediately to protect myself. Keep yourselves safe, everyone. God bless you and have a great day.